So, dear students, I welcome all of you in the another session of Traffic Engineering and Management. In last session, we had started the module number 3, that is traffic forecasting. Module number 4 actually. According to sequence of our session, it is module number 3. So we had started about traffic forecasting. We are discussing about traffic forecasting. So let us begin this session. In last session, we had learned about the need, then why it is required to forecast the methods, what is the period of traffic forecasting. And in this session, we are trying to continue our module number X, that is this, that is about the traffic forecasting. So what we are going to cover in this session is we are going to cover various kind of forecasting methods. Basically, the name of the particular topic in your syllabus is forecast based on past trends and extrapolation. Sorry, that is extrapolation. See, whenever we want to know about any kind of future trends, whenever we want to forecast that what is going to happen in future, we need to have the idea of present state and past state. So we need to have the details that what happened in the past, what are the trends of the past, and what is happening in the present right now. So based on the analysis of past and present, what we can do is we can uh, predict the particular traffic for the future scenario. So this is what we are going to do. So the first method, various kind of methods have been described in the reference book. The name of the reference book is this. See, Traffic and Transportation Planning by Mr. L. R. Kadiani. This is the name of the author. This is the standard reference book. It can be considered as the Gita of transportation engineering. Yes, it is considered as the most standard reference book. You have to have this book with you. So let us learn the first method. So the first method is very simple. It is the simple method of forecasting. And what we do in this method is we analyze the past data for the given number of years, and then we will extrapolate the particular trend, and we will assume that okay, the thing that happened in past that will repeat in future also. So we will assume that the condition in future will change with the same rate that it has changed in the past. So the rate of change will be considered as constant. This is the simplest method of traffic forecasting. This method has several advantages and disadvantages. But the advantages is that it is the simplest method, it is the easiest method, it is the cheapest method. And whenever the particular stretch whose forecasting we are doing is a stable kind of stretch, it is having good environment and various kind of factors such as change in production population do not influence or affect much. In such scenario, we will use this simplest method. So this is the first method. In this method, the person who is doing analysis is called as analyst. The analyst has to carefully study the past data and look out for any of the factors which may affect or not. These are the various kind of factors. Let me rub all of the things for make it easy to understand all of you. In this thing, the time series data equation is prepared for bus passenger kilometer travel. So it is called as equation derived from time series data on bus passenger kilometer travel. Bus BU, passenger kilometers K travel, and this is N. So equation is this 29.81 in bracket 1.100 raised to n. Here the BUPK suffix n stands for the bus passenger kilometer in the billions at the end of the nth period. So this is the nth period. The n, the value of n will be the given year such as 2021 minus it will be 1951. So here the year will be considered which we are calculating for and this is 1951. So this is the equation for that particular thing. Got it? Now the another method is the method which is based on certain traffic contributors and factors. In this method, in other method, Certain data, such as based on relationship between traffic and contributors, such as population, GDP, vehicle ownership, agricultural output, industrial output, and fuel consumption are considered. So you can see that the factors which were considered in the previous method were quite lesser than this. So the chances of error or lesser accuracy was higher in that method. In this method, the chances of error are quite lesser as compared to that. Then comes the second method. Sometimes the analyst person, means the person who is doing analysis, also uses the population data. See, population data is also called as census data. Through the growth of population, one can have the mindset that okay, in 2001 the population was like this, in 2011 the population was like this, in 2021 it will be like this. So this is how it can be accumulated. So the population data are available in all the countries for the past number of years. Various kind of methods. Now this elaborate stands for detailed. Detailed methods are also available with the demographer. Demographer means the person who is doing the analysis based on population, based on gender sex ratio, then based on the population trends. That person is called as demographer and planner. The past data on the GDP means gross domestic product. You all have heard this term. And GNP that stands for gross national product are easily available. So basically population data is available, GDP data is available, GNP data is available, and we all know that the traffic is relatable to all these factors in very higher manner. Means if the population is high, the traffic will be high. If the GDP is high, people will travel more. If the GDP is less, then people will travel less. So there is a relation between traffic and all these factors. The forecast with these parameters may not be very reliable number of times, but you can get a reasonable acceptance criteria. For the development of this model, if one wants to develop traffic forecasting based on this parameter GDP, population and GMP, various kind of variables are available and a log equation is there. The equation is this. Log T base E equals to A0 plus A1 log GNP base E, where the T stands for transport demand, that is what we are calculating. Then the GNP stands for gross national product. This A1 gives the elasticity of transport demand with respect to GNP, and this 1% of GNP, what does it mean? A1 means what? A1 means 1% of GNP is there, then it will increase 1% of traffic demand. Let me explain it once again. See, log T base E is equal to A0 plus A1 log GNP base E. A1 is in proportion with the GNP. Means if GNP is 1%, then the traffic demand will be 1%. If GNP is 2%, it will be 2%. So this is how it can be understood. Then there is the fourth method, that is based on the freight movement by road in terms of GNP. Only freight movement is considered and only in terms of GNP is considered. This is also not very much reliable. The equation stands like this. Log T base A is equals to minus 20.4677 plus 2.3563 log GNP base E, where the T stands for total freight moved by roads in billion ton kilometer. GNP stands for rupees in crore, with the prices of 1970 to 1971. See, this is the statement which has been considered from a reference book, so it may happen that certain values are obsolete nowadays, but as a part of reference book, we have to consider this because these are the most reliable data. Then comes the fifth method, that is this econometric models. This econometric models can be developed to determine the car ownership rates. It was given by Khan and Williamson. That is also called as Khan and Williamson prediction model. It is like this. So you don't have to memorize this equation, this particular equation, because this is very long. What we will do, we will just try to understand the particular elements. Log C base 1000, where the C 1000 stands for car ownership per 100,000 persons. That out of 1000 persons, how many people are having cars? That is this. Then this GNPH stands for gross national product per capita. Per capita means per person GNP. Per capita stands for per person, per single person. Then the per tax stands for, per stands for purchase, and tax stands for tax which is associated with the cars. Whenever we are buying a car, we have to pay certain taxes. That is called as per tax. Then own tax. Own tax stands for ownership tax. Ownership tax, which is called as license fee. Where whenever we go through our licensing process, we always pay own tax. Then comes IMP duty. IMP stands for import and duty stands for duty. Import duty of cars that we all have to pay. Whenever you will see the on-road price of the car, you will see the car range breakup. There you will be able to find that in the detailed breakup you will be able to find these things. Then fuel PR stands for fuel price per liter of fuel, which is being increasing nowadays. You all know. And then comes POPDEN. POP stands for population, DEN stands for density. So, which are the factors that we have discussed in this particular equation? Is we have discussed about car ownership per 1000 persons, gross national product per capita, purchase tax, ownership tax, import duty, and fuel per liter of fuel, and then population density. So this is also one of the methods through which the forecasting can be done. And then comes last two methods that stands for this. Fuel consumption data. If we have the values that okay in last 10 years people have used fuel like in this trend. This is the graph and this is the amount of vehicle. So due to with the help of this thing, you will be able to analyze this. And if you have the agricultural, industrial, and mining output and consumption, so based on this also we can forecast the future. So these are various methods. You just have to have the certain glimpses and understanding. You have to memorize the first two equations or three equations, which were not too much lengthy to remember.